Hey everybody, what is going on? Serial Overdrive here, and today we're playing Entropia Universe. We're going to be talking about my $10,000 mistake. And no, this isn't some sort of joke. This isn't some sort of like gotcha. This is a mistake that cost me $10,000, sort of. So here's the deal. Entropia Universe is a real cash economy game. Everything you're looking at costs money, including this land that I'm on right here. So if you look at my mouse and everywhere that I'm running and everything like that, this all costs money. This costs USD. I decided, with all my infinite wisdom, to buy this land. This is called Mutation Station. It is on Arcadia. Now, initially, I thought this wasn't that bad of a call. You know, there's some mobs here. There's some things to shoot. And every time someone kills one of these things, I get a little bit of money. I get the tax revenue from it. So where can it go wrong? What can go wrong with this? This sounds like the perfect strategy to making money, right? Well, it turns out it isn't. So what ended up happening was I put $10,000 into this land area. I bought it. Set everything up. I did some events, did some cool things. I was hoping that I would see a return. I was hoping that the return would be at least what I spent. And I really thought I had a good idea. I was like, well, I've got a following on YouTube. You know, this is a unique land area. The numbers seem to make sense when someone sent me like the numbers that this land area is making. I did a few checks and it really seemed like everything was sort of coming through. It seemed like this was a good purchase. So I went ahead and made the purchase, and then everything started drying up. It turns out that the numbers were not as good as I thought. Now you're probably wondering just how bad the numbers are because, you know, that's what you do, right? You're curious about that sort of thing. So let's get into it. So yeah, this is Entropia Universe Real Cash Economy game. Right now we're going to be dropping some probes on the land area, seeing if I can't make money back. When you drop a probe like this, it's going to look for minerals, ores, resources, and when it finds them, you can go mine them up and you can sell them for some money. So bing bang boom, we've got our first hit. Let's go ahead and pull that up. But yeah, so here's what happened. Basically, pulled down the land area. It seemed like initially it wasn't doing too bad. The land area was dropping some PEDs. It was dropping some resources. I wasn't too upset with how things were going, right? Like we were making a little bit under what CLDs would make. Those are Calypso land deeds. So that's another form of land deed. That's another form of investment in Entropia Universe. And the way it works is you put your money into that, you get a payout every week. The payout that I was getting with my money was about 60 to 70 PEDs a week. Near the end, we were up to 100 PEDs a week. So in in a month, I was making something like 400 PED, which would be 40 USD. This is off a little bit over 10,000 USD. Now, I guess you can see where this is going. I buy this land area, it was 10,000 USD. Right off the bat, it took a little bit more work. We were doing some events, we were doing some stuff like that. And it seemed good. We were clearing a little bit over 400 USD. When you account for fertilizer and some of that stuff, it was actually low. So I wasn't quite making as much as I would be with CLDs. But land areas, I still feel like they're going to go up in value. It's a piece of land. You can do some stuff with it. You can throw some events. There's a big update coming. Everything sort of checked out for me, right? Like I was feeling it. I was thinking like this could work. We just keep pushing it. People keep getting hits. The loot was actually really good. As you're hopefully going to see, like the loot here is decent. I've got a level 8 amplifier on this gear right here, on this finder, but still, you should see us getting hits every like almost every drop, and these are some pretty good hits. So yeah, the hits were decent, the loot was decent, you've got unique mobs, everything was going good until January hit. Things started to drop off, right? December was a little bit of a rough month, there were some events going on and things like that, but everybody told me it would get better. They said, just hold on, Cyril, it's going to get better. Well, January was rough, but we kept pushing. February was rougher. So here's how it went. Like January, I made like 200 PDs. So that was a little bit less, but we can still sort of keep our head above water with that. February comes along, we're making like 100 PEDs. By the time March came along, we were making 50 PEDs a month. And that's where I stand right now. I'm making 50 PEDs a month on this land area. So why is that such a big deal? Because I'm still making money, but actually I'm not. So here's the thing. I stopped paying for upkeep on this land area. The way land areas work is you've got to put money in for these mobs. These mobs right here that you see right here, for them to spawn, there's got to be something called fertilizer. And you're spending about 7 PEDs a day in fertilizer. Now, if you know anything about math, you know that if you're making 7 PEDs a day, or sorry, if you're losing 7 PEDs a day and you're making less than that, then you're just losing money. And what it turns out is with this land area, I was losing money at a rate of about 5 PEDs a day or 50 cents a day. This doesn't seem like much, but when you put $10,000 into something and it turns out being just all losses, it's not a good feeling. So what went wrong? A lot of it was on me. So first off, I didn't have as much time as I thought. Originally, I was thinking my time was going to be free. I thought I'd have a lot more time to do stuff. I thought like, okay, this is the perfect time for me to get. This is the perfect time for me to double down on Entropia Universe, and that's what I did. I doubled down on Entropia Universe, thinking I could put more time in, and I couldn't. I thought that I'd put the time in, I'd start seeing some really good results. I could justify putting more time in. Again, when I did find the time to put in initially, it just didn't work out. I didn't get the same oomph that I was getting before, right? Like I wasn't seeing the returns that I was hoping for. And as everything got worse and worse, the returns were getting less and less, and I was less and less motivated to put in the time. It might sound crazy to some of you, the fact that I was willing to walk away from like a $10,000 investment, but I really was, because I'm not going to just keep taking losses, keep wasting my time. I just decided enough was enough, and that was that. So this land area basically is empty right now. There's some mobs here, and as you can see, actually, even though it's empty, like the mining is pretty good, and there's still PEDs being brought in from this. I think a lot of people have seen some of my videos mining on this land area previously, and a few people messaged me saying like they actually do like mining here. So the fertilizer dropped off. Fertilizer is what you use to spawn mobs. I stopped paying for it. There's less mobs here than ever before. It's probably never been done to this land area. It's very rare for it to be done to this land area, but it seems to work right now, because honestly, I'm making 50 PDs a month instead of losing, I don't know what I was losing, but losing like 100 to 200 PDs a month. So again, it's profitable now. I've taken it. I've made it profitable, but at the cost of making a lot less profit than I was making before with something that I literally had to do nothing on. My only hope, and the one thing that I think will come back to sort of help with this, is the fact that we have an update coming. It's called this. So basically, there's a huge update coming. Entropia Universe is moving over to the Unreal 5 engine. I think when that happens, there's going to be a whole retrofit of how space works, of how planets work, of how terrain works, of how land ownership works. And my hope is two things. So we could see a scenario where all of a sudden you can rent out land areas. If that happens, land areas are going to become more valuable. People are going to pay more money for them. In addition to this, you get another scenario where all the planets get closer together and more people are going to be coming to hunt on land areas. Right now, this land area is on Arcadia. The most busy planet in Entropia Universe is Calypso, or the busiest planet, not most busy. So the busiest planet is Calypso. It's very hard to get players off of that. I was hosting events that were giving over, they were giving like 50 to 100 PDs an event. All you had to do was hunt on it. A lot of people are actually making money with it. I was breaking even, to be honest with it, because the loot wasn't that bad. And yeah, it was just like, that was actually working out. Like, we were doing good. We had a small group coming, but I just couldn't keep it going. I went on some trips. I came back, and the events just didn't hit like they did before. But yeah, basically, I think, you know, again, this could be this could be copium going on here. But I feel like we are going to come back with this. I feel like there's still potential for this. I feel like the money is not lost, but right now it seems like it is. I fielded some offers for the land area. I was at one point gonna be making a little bit on it. It felt like I was gonna be turning a little bit of a profit, but that fell through. And at this point, I just decided, like, screw it, we're just going to let it ride. And that's what we're doing. So yeah, Mutation Station, for the time being, is going to be a serial overdrive land area. And if you're looking for a place to mine, hopefully this is a land area that you consider. Honestly, the loot isn't too bad. I consistently find myself breaking even. I think if I had more time to explore it, I could probably give some better advice. But again, I don't. Like, you can see from this run, like, the loot is not bad. I think, you know, this probably isn't going to be like a top 2 land area. I think it could easily be like top 5. And if you're willing to make the trip over to, if you're willing to make the trip over here, I think it could be worth it. But yeah, I wanted to give an update. And for those of you wondering, let's show the figures, because I'm not about hiding anything. Everybody knows that. PD Flow Center. Here's the land area income if you're looking for proof. You can see 1st of April, pulled out 50 PDs. First, and here you go, another 50 PDs right here in March. 1st of March, another 57 PDs, but that was paid out in February. Now you can see over here at the beginning of February, things were going a little bit better. This was when I was running events. So you can see here with events, I was pulling in like 80, 50, 50, something like that PDs. And the events actually did work out. So people say like host more events serial, but I just don't have the time to do it. And they weren't making money, they were just breaking even. So what was happening is people come to the events. I'd usually get a little bit of a kickback from those events. I was seeing returns of about, the land area would pay out maybe like 50 to 70 PEDs. The prizes I was giving out were about 50 to 70 PEDs. I'd play my own events. I tried not to get first. Like, I'd start off the event, I'd kick it off with first, get the first PD prize up to like, 10, 20 PDs in the pool if I could. But after that, I wasn't going to do anything because I feel like it would be a little bit weird for the person hosting the event to be winning first all the time. So yeah, like people were winning first place prizes. Those were 50 PDs. Usually I'd come in like third because I was actually burning a good bit of PDs just to sort of get things amped up. This looks like a good hit. Let's drop another probe. But yeah, I was trying to like amp things up a little bit. So I was playing a lot. I was spending like 200 PDs hunting, and my returns were actually pretty good. So like I don't count that as loss or anything like that because most of the time I was, I'd spend like 200 to 500 PDs, and I'd see a return of about 95 to 97%, which isn't too bad. But yeah, with those events, even including the money I lost, usually I'd break even. Maybe I'd lose a PD or two or make a PD too. Not too big of a deal, but yeah, I don't know. It was breaking even. I couldn't seem to just break that cycle. I couldn't seem to get to that next level where I was getting a lot of people coming in. I tried making videos on it. The only thing I could do is live stream it, but the problem I have with that is I just couldn't find the time to do it, I guess. Like usually when I be doing this, because I wanted to do it at a time when everybody could get on. So if you're wondering, Serial, what time are you making this video right now? It's 1 a.m. 1 a.m. is not a good time. There's not a lot of people playing the game at 1 a.m. So it's not a good time to do this. So I do these events, Saturday or Sunday. I do it around like 4 or 5, maybe a little bit later, around 8. People are showing up for it, but the problem is, I'm watching kids. I'm doing stuff with the family. I'm coming and going. It is not, it's not inducive to a good stream, and it doesn't really make sense to tell your family like, hey, I made a bad investment. I lost 10K. I want to dump some more time into it and see if I can make the money back. To some of you it might, but to me it just sounded crazy to say. And I'd rather focus on YouTube. To be honest, YouTube was paying way more dividends and still is paying way more dividends than Entropia Universe. So, yeah, I did that, and I made a bad investment. But yeah, that's my Entropia Universe $10,000 down the drain story. Hopefully some of you learned something. If you got any questions about land areas, ownership, anything like that, feel free to leave them down below. Otherwise, I'm going to say peace. So thanks for watching. Until next time, peace.